Hi everyone, it's Fred Thomas and you are watching All Things Bike, brought to you by Frame and Wheel and 80 Bikes. And today we are speaking with Amy Labby of the Dempsey Challenge. Amy.
Hi.
Welcome back.
Good to see you.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah.
So what is going on for the Dempsey Challenge?
We are already underway planning for this year's event, October 7th and 8th. So it will be here before we know it.
Earlier too, right? You're moving gradually earlier. Was it October 7th last year?
So last year it was the 1st and 2nd. So we kind of bounce around a little bit. We have a few factors, Bates Parents and Family Weekend, and of course Patrick's schedule. So
of course,
we have to plan around those important things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's good, it's warmer, because at that time of year, generally speaking, it's going to be warm.
Yeah, we've had some good cycling weather in the past.
That's great. And Patrick is scheduled to attend.
Yes.
And who else? Is there a star that we should, a cycling star that we should hold our breath for?
Not yet. We do have a few that we're working on, so
right.
stay tuned for more information on that. But certainly Patrick will be out doing the ride along with his family, which he's had his kids riding with him the last few years, which has been great.
I caught a glimpse of him at the ride yesterday or last year, and he was doing a great job of getting people involved, and it seems to be growing and getting more recognition. I mean, what's the ridership like, or the team participation like nowadays?
Yeah, so last year we had just over 3,700 participants.
Wow.
And about 400 teams, so most people do participate on a team. And collectively that group raised $1.3 million, which was a record for us. That's the most we've ever raised, so that's phenomenal to see that fundraising growing every year. And to have a record-breaking year like last year was just great.
Yeah,
so.
well, that's great. I mean, why do you think it was? Is it just more awareness, or are you doing something different? Or?
Yeah, I wish I knew the exact reason, because we'd love to replicate it every year.
You're on the TV show All Things Bike. That's why.
But I think unfortunately, I think a lot of people are impacted and continue to be impacted by cancer, and this event really gives them a sense of purpose and the ability to feel really productive. Sometimes cancer can make you feel really helpless and powerless, and so this feels like a tangible thing that people can do to support loved ones, or honor, memorialize loved ones, or set their own personal goals. So we've definitely seen a lot of those stories, and certainly are seeing more businesses become engaged and want to get their employees involved and engaged as a group, and being physically fit, and having some wellness.
Right,
too.
from a preventative standpoint. Right.
Exactly.
Well, there's a lot more to the Dempsey Challenge than the ride. I think people, they think Patrick Dempsey and the ride, 100 miles, and the run, the walk. But then there's the Dempsey Center, which is really the whole reason for the challenge.
Exactly.
And talk about some of the programs that the Dempsey Center arranges and organizes.
Absolutely. So the challenge is the primary fundraiser for the Dempsey Center, and every dollar that's raised by participants, so that $1.3 million, all comes back to the Dempsey Center, and that's what allows us to provide our services for free. So we provide a variety of cancer support, education, and complementary therapies to folks who are impacted by cancer. And what a lot of people don't know is that's not just the person with the diagnosis, but also their caregiver, their family. Really anyone who's impacted can access our services, which is pretty remarkable. And all of those are completely free, regardless of where treatment is received, or where people live, or what their relationship is to the cancer. And it's all ages as well. We do have a Healing Tree Youth and Family program, which is specifically geared toward young people who are impacted in the whole family unit. We also do oncology massage, acupuncture, yoga, fitness consultations, nutrition consultations, and financial and resource navigation as well. So as just a few of the services and programs that we offer.
Right, that's fantastic. And it's not just Lewiston. I think the Dempsey Center has an outreach to the rest of the state. I mean, how does that work? If someone is in a hard way in Mid-Coast, how do they access the resources available?
Yeah, that's a great question. We're definitely striving to be more statewide and to reach more people, especially because Maine has a lot of rural and underserved areas. So we do have a dedicated resource navigator who will field phone calls and email requests and connect with people all over the state. She's actually gone on road trips up to Holton and Caribou
Wonderful.
to try and connect with people in cancer support centers in those areas. So she's really able to help people who maybe can't drive to us to find resources in their area, whether it's financial resources or she's even helped with lodging. A lot of times people who live in those areas have to travel great distances for treatment, and so helping connect them with affordable housing and things like that. So she's really familiar with all the resources in the state, and that's a service we're able to provide. And we also hope to do more streaming in the future with some of our programs and kind of use technology to reach more people as well.
Yeah, I mean, that makes plenty of sense.
Yeah.
I think you know, the streaming of everything. I mean, now we practically stream our bike rides, and that was a question, I suppose, for the future. I mean, you've got the Dempsey Challenge, and it's in October, and a lot of people would like to make it, but they can't because they're too far away. You have a virtual program. I mean, could you ever do the Dempsey Challenge through Strava or through whatever, Zwift or some service like that?
Yeah, it's interesting. Yeah, we've talked initially about that, very sort of superficially in the very beginning phases, but how we might do something like that, and you know, where people could join from the comfort of their own home and potentially ride with Patrick in some sort of virtual-like setting with something like Zwift.
Zwift, yeah.
So it's pretty cool, the technology that's out there, and the camaraderie that it can really create with the cycling community. So it's definitely something that we're exploring.
Yeah, you could do the Dempsey Challenge every month.
Exactly. Or you could kind of,
you
know, do training rides and build up. You know, we offer 10, 25, 50, 70, and 100-mile rides. So you could, you know, start it at the beginning of the season doing the 10 and work your way up to the 25 by the time October comes around. So
this is
a lot of options.
Yeah, 21st century cycling, my goodness.
Yeah, and when you're in Maine, you know, you can't necessarily cycle year round. I know some people get out their fat bikes, but a lot of folks, you know, are in that May to October sweet spot.
You gotta really want it if you're riding in January.
Exactly.
And some people do. But well, let's talk about the events. You've got the rides, or long rides or short rides. There's runs and walks. Just explain a little bit so the viewers know what they're signing up for.
Yeah, so we have a 2-day weekend. So Saturday is our run walk day, and we do a 5K and a 10K, non-competitive, non-timed, and we see people from all different you know, ages and abilities participate, which is wonderful. Then we have a survivor walk, which is free and open to the public. That takes place on Saturday, and that's a very short walk that's in honor and memory of those who are currently battling or those who may have passed away from cancer. We also do a free kids fun run on Saturday afternoon. And then on Sunday we do our cycling rides, 10 to 100 miles, as I mentioned. And we also have a free family ride. It's sort of the counterpart to the kids fun run. So it's just a little 2-mile loop that younger kids and families can participate in. And then all weekend we have a festival in the park, which is completely free and open to the public, and we have vendors and food trucks and merchandise and food for participants and all kinds of great
bike
things.
companies. AD Bikes was there last year, and it was quite a great vibe. And the one thing that struck me, I have to say, is you know, people would register, right? And so I'm in the park there, and every time someone who registered and who was a survivor of cancer, you would hear a bell, or they cheered, or there was some sort of notification that went out. And it really brought home just how many people are signing up and doing this event who have had an experience or have an experience with cancer. So it's basically something you'll never experience unless you go and do the event.
Exactly, and that's one of the things that we feel like you know, really makes our event memorable and impactful, is there's sort of this feeling of community and grassroots support. And you know, you've got people from all different walks of life and even all different parts of the country coming together, but yet everyone is so open and supportive of one another. And we see that out on course with the cheer
Absolutely.
stations and
I
the
was gonna
rest
say.
stops, and a lot of makeshift rest stops of people who've lived on the routes for all these years.
Yeah.
And so now they just come and they set up these tables and lemonade stands and hand out cookies,
Yep,
and
yep.
all because they really want to support the participants. And that's, especially in today's world, that's really heartwarming
unusual.
to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I did the 50-mile ride last year, and I have to say I got more cheers on that 50 miles than in many races that I've done that are
Yeah.
longer. And it was nice. It was flattering. And now, have you done the ride yet?
I have not done the ride.
That's
I'm a runner, sometimes
Yeah.
runner, mostly walker.
Right.
But I'm usually so busy,
Yeah.
coordinating everything. I'm like, I could never step away that long to
I know.
actually go and
That's
do
okay.
it. But
There's plenty of time, not to worry.
exactly.
Well, elaborate on how people go about joining teams or forming teams, and then the whole registration process, because it's not just sign up and turn up. It's a little more complicated.
Sure. So registration takes place online, and we actually have an early bird registration through March 1st. So we have some pretty good discounts going
Wow.
right now for registration. But we will continue to take registrations right up until the morning of the event, so
Right.
people can register at any time. Very, very easy to just go online, and you can register as an individual. You can join an existing team. You can start a team. Very easy process. And then there is a $150 fundraising minimum for folks 18 and over.
Right.
Youth 17 and under don't have any fundraising minimum. So just for the adults. And a lot of people go well above and beyond that fundraising amount.
They do,
We had
yeah.
14 people last year who raised $10,000 or more, which was
Wow.
also a record for us. So we have some pretty impressive fundraisers and lots of different what we call IFEs, independent fundraising events, that take place throughout the year. So everything from car washes to bake
Right.
sales to concerts to all kinds of creative things that people are doing as
I
teams.
see. So that was a question I was wondering. I mean, how do these people manage to raise so much? And I think you just mentioned it. It's throughout the course of the year.
Exactly.
They're committed to the event, and then they have a bake sale or a car wash or something, and they use the proceeds from that.
Yeah, we have people who've already started.
already started, wow.
Sometimes they start right after, November. They're rearing up again for the next year, which
That's
is
great.
unbelievable and wonderful.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, again, are on corporate teams, and so have a
Yeah.
lot of support from their businesses to kind of host these events and work together as a team to do
Right.
the fundraising and train together, which is
Yeah, no, that's-
nice to see.
Yeah, that's great. Wow. Well, any other features coming up for the ride in 2017? I mean, the course is the same, or the timing is the same?
Yeah, so course remains the same. This will be our third year with the 2-day ride.
Oh, yeah.
So we added that 2 years ago, and it's between 60 and 70 miles per day, so Saturday and Sunday. Goes down to the mid-coast, and day one ends in Freeport, so there's some nice coastal riding.
Wow.
And that's really geared toward the out-of-stater who's looking for that Maine experience,
Right.
the lobster and the coast.
And a real challenge too, right? I suppose,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah, it's pretty challenging. So back-to-back riding, and then
Right.
on Sunday they loop back in with our 50-mile riders and get to finish in the park. So kind of getting that Dempsey Challenge
Yeah.
hospitality that we're known for. So that's coming back again for the third year. And
Wow.
other than that, we're looking to just kind of raise the bar on our festival and
Yeah.
encourage more participation. And just every year we're working to make things bigger and better.
Great. Well, it's going in the right direction, and I have to say, I had a great experience there, and it's a very satisfying event, and I look forward to doing it again.
Wonderful.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
thanks for coming down, Amy.
Thank you for having me.
Anytime.
We'll see you in October.
Absolutely. That was Amy Labby of the Dempsey Challenge. You can learn more about the Dempsey Center, which is the organization that receives all the proceeds from the event, the Dempsey Challenge, online and also on Facebook. That's all for now. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All Things Bike with Fred Thomas is brought to you by Frame and Wheel, eBay selling services for cyclists and bike shops throughout New England, and AD Bikes, the modern face of Austro-Daimler cycling and the bike company of the future.